firm. I just want to make sure you're going to be...
Videotape says motorists for civil rights and always
For me, it was much more interesting for this particular film to go into the mind of a cop and sort of go along for the ride with him, where sort of a time of great change is happening. The scandal has happened, and it's in progress. People are sort of cleaning up the department, as it were. And he's a guy who refuses to change. He just doesn't believe that anything's going to be different because he's so set in his ways, and he so believes in his rationale and his agenda to do bad things to bad people. Therefore, he's good. So that kind of stubbornness was fascinating to me, and I thought, let's go as far as we can with this character and never let him go. And by the time the movie ends, we're sort of the last thing he has in his life, and when we're gone, that's it. He's done. And
Woody, I think, is one of our finest actors. He's a national treasure. I love him like family, and getting to play with him is heaven.
It doesn't surprise me that Woody is capable of this, because we know him as such an amazing comedian, which he is. But he's an artist, so I just think it's really cool when people give artists the opportunity to show all of these different facets of their understandings.
I just knew from The Messenger that he has so many layers and so many emotional outlets that he actually doesn't always use in movies. And obviously when he does comedies, it's a whole other genre. But I just felt that if he interpreted the role in the way Woody Harrelson can interpret roles, then we will create a very interesting, fascinating character that you sort of take on the role and you make it your own. And then you get Woody Harrelson's version of Dave Brown, which I just knew would be like no others.
I am an ex-wife of this cop. My sister is also an ex-wife of this cop. We each have a child with him. We live next door to each other, and he lives in a garage apartment in the back of our homes. So our family unit is just quite odd. But the situation, Cynthia and I came into it, I think we'd already, done enough to figure out that you have to kind of embrace that. You have to make it as true and as real as possible, because this is one of the most unique, oddly compelling men that we're going to watch. And I think that's why they needed to make the family unit odd and compelling as well, to kind of bring you into this destructive, odd, weird man's life,
Oren is the most loving and nurturing being that I know, and that's what makes him such a fantastic director, and that's what's allowed all of us to go into such a dark, deep place, because he's there to pull us out and hug us and tell us it's going to be okay.
It's very difficult to make a film at all. It's nearly impossible to make a decent one. You bring together so many different specialists and have to collaborate, make this thing, and it's changing, constantly changing, and there's nothing but challenges or problems, and these are luxury problems. You lose a location, or an actor is having a difficult time with something, there are rewrites. Fill in the blank. And you have to screw it in behind everybody and just produce it.
Have you thought about retirement?
If you force me to retire, I'll have my own show on Fox News inside 1 week. You'll be my first guest.
Say you have thought about it.
The Rampart scandal is incredibly fascinating and very dark, but you can Google it and you can find out about it. But this part is a side that we haven't seen and hasn't been explored, and adds like a human element to it. Instead of it just being like some sort of black and white news story, it turns into real humans, real emotion, and the real effects of an action, and how it affects your family. And that we have so much power as humans to do all of these things, and we just expect all of us to kind of, walk in between the lines. And what happens when you don't?
The journey will take you through his domestic life and his police life, and kind of start messing with it and creating a narrative that ultimately will not completely satisfy as a sort of closed-ended kind of story, but keep you in a place where hopefully you'll be talking about the movie after you see it.
The only thing that's wrong here is that a camera caught him doing police work.